Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to do something a little different. We're not going to only focus on Dolphin, but we are also going to look at Aiper Pool Cleaners. This is another one of the questions that is posed a lot to me and online, so I wanted to do a video comparing the two because there are quite a few differences and stuff like that to consider when you're in the market for looking or in the market of looking for a new robotic pool cleaner. So the goal of today's video is how does Aiper compare to the well-established Dolphin Pool Cleaner brand? We're going to go over some brief brand histories, types of cleaners offered and breakdowns, cleaning coverage and performance, build quality, and the pros and cons of both brands. So number one is a brief brand history on both. First, we'll go with Dolphin. I think that's the one that's been around longer, obviously. So Dolphin is a much more established brand. They have been making robotic pool cleaners since 1983. They have since become the number one pool vacuum brand in the USA for multiple years now. I believe before it was Dolphin, it used to be Aquabot, but Aquabot was bought out, and it was this whole fiasco where they're not really thought of anymore. They used to be the biggest brand, but now it is Dolphin. And then you've got Aiper, which is a relatively new company. They were founded in 2017 based off what I was able to find, and they started selling in the USA in 2020 to 2021. Their focus is on cordless cleaners at a cheaper price point than Dolphin or most named brands. It's not that they are at a cheaper price point. Dolphin has cheaper, some at some price points as well, but most of Aiper's cleaners are on the cheaper end. Let's go through to the next slide. So breakdowns. Aiper, all of Aiper pool cleaners are cordless and operate off a rechargeable battery. As of 2023, Aiper offers 4 different models: the Seagull SE, Seagull Plus, Elite Pro, and Seagull Pro. They used to offer a ton more. I feel like there were a ton of units. Last year and the year before, I know there were some white ones, but I feel like they have since simplified their SKUs. I know there were a lot more available probably 2 years ago now or so. I'm not sure what happened to those models, but right now, as of 2023, they only offer these 4. Maybe there are some from years prior that are still available, but for the sake of this video, we're going to be focusing on the ones that were produced this year. And then other than that, just like I mentioned before, Aiper definitely markets towards the lower price point, with their most expensive cleaner being $8.99. Dolphin, on the other hand, has always been corded until this year. They came out with their Liberty line, which is cordless cleaners. So you have the option of corded or cordless, compared to Aiper only being cordless. Let's take a brief tangent on the cordless type of cleaner. Cordless is it's trending. As of last year and this year, it is a trend. It's become very popular in terms of what people look for when looking for a pool cleaner. However, there are trade-offs with the cordless cleaners. Usually, they don't have a charge any longer than 1 cycle time. So you're going to run a cleaner for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and it's going to need to be charged again. That's perfectly normal. There's a lot of stuff going on inside these cleaners that require a lot of battery power, so you're not going to get multiple cycles out of just 1 charge. Other than that, your main restriction there is that you're going to have to charge it after every use, where some points you might want to run it consecutively, which is where corded would be a little bit more reliable in that end. And as of now, we haven't seen the longevity of cordless models, so at this point, corded, in my opinion, is still the way to go. But cordless does offer their benefits. Hence, you don't have a messy cord on your patio, and it's easier to bring around. But still, both have pros and cons. Dolphin has a huge amount of models, as seen on our comparison video. I don't know if you saw that. I'm sure you did. If found this video. But that video breaks down all the Dolphin models available in 2023. And Dolphin does cover more price points with higher quality specs and features. So their cheapest model right now is $549, and it goes all the way up to $19.99. So compared to Aiper being from $299 to $899. So there's definitely a ton more price points covered with Dolphin. Other than that, before we get to the breakdown of Aiper Cleaners, Aiper is primarily only available online as of 2023. Dolphin is available online and in physical pool stores across the country. So that is one thing to consider. Are you going to have better customer service with a pool store compared to an online seller or a drop shipper and so on? So that's one thing to consider, where Dolphin does have the bigger base in terms of customer service availability, warranty work availability, repair availability and stuff like that, where Aiper only sells directly. So you have to deal directly with them, and any warranty work has to be done through them, shipped back to them. I'm not sure 100% on how they do their warranties. They don't allow repair centers to work on them like us, since I repair cleaners and so on, but I've never gotten the chance to work on them. I've only been able to basically dissect them for this video, basically look into the differences and stuff like that, and watch reviews and so on. So let's go over the Aiper line as of right now. Seagull SE is their $299 model. I see it all the time advertised online for $199. So this model, think of it like a Roomba for a pool. It's only going to do the floor. So 2.5 hours, you charge it up. Only lasts for 90 minutes, then you're going to need another charge. And it does 11 gallons per minute. Now, across the board with this gallons per minute suction rate, as you could see here, I have my suspicions on these not being accurate. If you do the math, for example, on this one, 130 gallons per minute, do you really think this thing's shooting 130 gallons of milk, as just an example, through the hole in 1 minute? 130 gallons. I have my suspicions on that, because that would be 7,800 gallons per hour. And it just seems unrealistic. For example, the top-end Dolphin model will only do 4,500 gallons per hour. So I feel like this is a bit exaggerated. I don't think that these would be more than the top-end Dolphin in terms of suction power or suction rate. So it's I'm a little skeptical on that. Maybe they can shine some light, but as of now, I don't know if I can trust this measurement. I would trust Dolphin over these more in terms of that measurement. But so we go over the, basically in pool Roomba, and that's only going to do the floor. You've got your Seagull Plus. This is only rated for the floor, although I have seen it do walls in some instances. And then that has got a charging time same as this one, 2.5 hours. Flat floor, battery life of 120 minutes. So you get a 2-hour cycle clean with this one. Elite Pro, floor walls, 2-hour charge time, and 120 minutes, 2 hours cleaning cycle. Then you've got your Seagull Pro, $899, 1.5 hour charging time, 2.5 hour cleaning cycle. The Seagull Pro, as we'll get into shortly with the cleaning types, is really the only one that will hold a candle up to Dolphin's cleaning performance, as you will see shortly. I'm going to go through the Dolphins real quick. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this one, because obviously there's a whole video on this chart. So they offer models from $649, even $549. It's just the fact that I made this on PowerPoint. I couldn't fit all the models on one slide. So I did miss some at the $549 price point. But for the sake of like this chart, I really only wanted to focus on the in-ground capable cleaners. The $549 ones are really for above ground. They only do the floor. For example, $549. We'll consider $549 like over here in imaginary world. $549 all the way to $19.99. And I don't know the prices on these Liberty 6, 7, and 800s, but I'm assuming if this keeps up, $19.99 or $9.99, $12.49, this one's going to be $14.99 when it comes out shortly. I would imagine it would just go in $250 increments. I would think. But these are all the Dolphin models that Dolphin makes. So what the real gist of this video, this is where we get into like the details, is cleaning performance and coverage. So cleaning performance and coverage, we'll start with Dolphin first. So Dolphin has baskets, a basket design, where if you look at some of these models, they have a basket that basically pops out the top, dump it, hose it off, put it back in. Some have these cartridges where they slot two into the unit. For example, the M400 will have a cartridge here and then on the other side. Both, I would say, have the same cleaning potential. It's just the basket is a lot easier. Some have the misconception that the basket's going to fit more than the cartridges. Between the two cartridges, you have the same amount of space, if not more, than the basket. It's a hard measurement. But other than the basket and filter types, some Dolphin have fine filters, which is like this fine window screen. Some have these pleated. Some models come with both. Some will only come with the fine. So that's one thing to consider when looking into Dolphin. That's gone over in the other video, which compares all the models. But one of the other things is the active brush. Most Dolphins will have an active brush. There are some exceptions, the exceptions being Sigma, Nautilus CC Plus, and the Premier. Those only have, based on how they're designed, the front and back brush only spin at the rate that the motor spins. An active brush is something that spins faster than the rate the motor is spinning. So for example, you might have the motor spinning this wheel via a gear that's attached to the motor, but with an active brush, you'll have a smaller gear attached to maybe the other side of this wheel. So maybe you have the motor attaches on this side, then you've got this active gear that attaches here. This brush will spin faster, so you are getting a little bit more of an active scrubbing for any stubborn stains or stuff like that, compared to something that just rolls over the dirt. So as I will read through these bullet points, almost all Dolphins come with active brushes. I mentioned the exceptions before. Basically spins at a faster rate than the tracks. So you actually get a brush that's putting some elbow grease into the scrubbing compared to just rolling it over with a brush. Dolphin cleaners don't only focus on leaves and bigger debris like some other units and other brands, and as you'll see Aiper shortly, Dolphins actually aim to collect fine dirt, sand, minerals, and others on top of the larger debris. They were the first to introduce this basket design, with a lot of brands copying it since then with minor changes. And most units come with two sets of filters, like I mentioned, fine and ultra fine. So that's one thing to consider when you're looking for a Dolphin, is if you want fine and ultra fine or just fine. In terms of Aiper cleaning performance, these are the three cheaper options available from Aiper. As you can see, they only focus on large debris. You don't see much filtration here. It's hard to see, but this is more like a window screen. It's not. I would say it's not as fine as the Dolphin ones. The holes are definitely a little bit bigger. But are you telling me that this is basically the entrance is just going into like the plastic area? There's really nothing to catch it other than this screen. Same thing here. This is the Roomba one. It's just a little compartment that everything kind of shoots into. No filtration. The only one out of these three that was decent at most was the bag. But a lot of brands have gotten away from the bag. And it's kind of archaic at this point in time. But I will say that this one, the Seagull Pro, has a basket, so it's going to be similar to Dolphin's design. So I would consider that the only one that would really kind of be comparable to a Dolphin pool cleaner. I wouldn't compare these to a Dolphin in terms of like performance. So the Seagull Pro is the only unit with an actual filtration basket like Dolphin filter baskets. So when you compare a $599 Dolphin E10 or $699 E20 and the $799 Aiper Elite Pro, the Dolphin is actually going to be a better cleaner. The thing is, most people say, oh, I'm not going to get a Dolphin, they're too expensive. But when you look at the Elite Pro at $799, you actually can get a cheaper Dolphin at $649. The E20 is very underrated. It's a powerful cleaner, and it's at the $649 price point. The only thing you're losing out on is the waterline scrubbing, and you do have a little bit of a shorter cord. You also lose on the swivel, but if you really take care of the cord, you shouldn't have to worry about the swivel. And then the bullets are just going over basically what I mentioned before, but I'm a little skeptical on how reliable these screens are. The Aipers are definitely focused on more getting the larger debris and like leaves and bigger dirt. When your pool's clean, it's not going to get the fine sediment. That stuff's going to go right through this thing. So it's hard to tell. So build quality is another important aspect to it. Dolphin's build quality is definitely more complex. The designs are proven and the parts are durable and secure. Most places and models and secure. Jesus, how did I type this? The design are proven, the parts are durable and secure. In most places and models. I think that must have been supposed to have been in. Excess high chlorine exposure can still wear and tear any pool cleaner, however, so keep that in mind. All Dolphins, from their lowest price point to their highest, have their Clever Clean technology and their gyroscopic mobility system. So basically, Clever Clean technology is how it maps the pool. Gyroscope is basically how basically it allows the unit to know where it is in the pool, if it's on the wall, the floor, the water line, and so on. So the gyroscope tells the unit where it is, and then the unit, using the Clever Clean technology, uses that information to map out your pool, tracks the distance from one wall to another, or so on. So you get that from $599 all the way up to $1999. Aiper only offers their mapping tech on their highest end unit. So if you want a solid unit that won't aimlessly wander at a cheaper price point, Dolphin actually has the cheaper option at $599 compared to the $899. Otherwise, you're going to have something similar to like a Polaris suction side cleaner where it's kind of just aimlessly wandering, and there might be some spots where it might not even ever cover it at all. Motor and overall part quality are no question superior. From working on these things, it's superior than Aiper. This is due to the price difference, I'm sure. Dolphin is more expensive. You're going to get higher quality parts. The common phrase I've seen in the pool community when it comes to Dolphin versus Aiper is you get what you pay for, which seems to have some accuracy personally. I will say there are sacrifices made by Aiper to get down to the price points they are at. And I think the reason they are so popular is because of the price points. It's just a matter of what kind of sacrifices are you giving up? You're giving up some, well, we'll get into that. In terms of warranty, Dolphin offers a warranty period from 2, 2.5, or 3 years. 2 being the average, and 3 being on the higher end models, like the M600 E70. It starts at like the $1499 price point. Some units higher than that only have 2, but the chart will say how many months the warranty is depending on the model. Build quality on the Aiper. There are some obvious differences. Aiper are very lightweight, almost too lightweight. Basically, the way I can put it in a simple example, the plastic is like a thin plastic. So like, I know that might sound weird, but like you could tell the quality is different in terms of like kind of like when you're a kid, you can kind of know, like you can kind of tell a difference if the toy was cheaper compared to like a name brand, maybe. I don't know how to explain it. But you can tell, you can kind of feel and see the difference in terms of quality there. The biggest thing that kind of skeeved me out is the wheels are plastic wheels and they're only screwed on by a screw, and they wobble kind of like a Hot Wheels car in a way. Like it's very loose. Like that's a good word. Everything's kind of loose. Not in terms of like securability, like the screws are in there. It's just loose. Like it's not tight. Another example would be all these wires. The bag goes over these wires, and then you put the top, bottom layer on. But that's it. Everything's exposed. And this is the underneath of the of this one. I want to say this is the same picture. I forget, but that is the underneath of this one. I want to say that's the case. No, it's not. It's underneath of this one, the Seagull Plus. All right, back to the other slide. All right. All 4 units rely on a 4-wheel design with no tank tracks. Tank tracks tend to add more grip to the cleaner to help with its climbing. So I wish they would incorporate something like that here. I think they could totally do it on their higher end model. The others, I don't think they're going to have the power to basically move around with the tank tracks. They really only rely on the pump motor to kind of shoot it back and forth across the pool. Similar to a Aquabot Pura 4XT, an old Aquabot model. It's a similar design, very similar. Aquabot had these cables like that too. And I mentioned the wheels. The wheels feel wobbly. I wish they had some sort of gripping on them, because it's just plain old plastic. Brushes all spin at the same rate. There's no active brushes. The only one the active brush has is the Seagull Pro. I believe it has an active brush. And Aiper, in terms of warranty, only offer a 1 and 2 year warranty, so you're losing a year on most models. So pros and cons in conclusion, we'll go with Aiper first. Aiper definitely leads the way in terms of cordless cleaners. However, being that the company started selling in the US in 2020 to 2021, it's still up in the air in terms of any Aiper cleaners lifespan. I will add to that, I'm on a lot of forums online, and I see that there are a lot of complaints in 2 departments: screws rusting, and then the fact that their warranty department might not get back to them in a timely manner. So that's one thing to consider. Now, that being said, when you look at reviews of anything, I feel like you'll always see more negative reviews publicized on forums compared to common good reviews. And who knows if that problem was caused by something natural in terms of like manufacturing problem, or if it was the chlorine super high and over time just rusted the screws. Like, how high was the chlorine? If it was over 20 parts per million, I'm sure it's going to rust anything over time. So that's one thing to consider. The Aipers are very affordable in a market that tends to be quite pricey compared to the higher cost Dolphin brand. This is good, but it doesn't come without sacrifices. Those sacrifices being filtration sacrifices, build quality is lacking, poor quality plastic parts, they could have been better, longevity is not as long, no active scrubbing brush on lower 3 models. Another thing to add to this is it's only available online, or big retail stores. You might see them in like a Walmart or something now. I think they started that recently, actually. So that's one thing to consider. But they won't be serviceable anywhere. You would have to contact Dolphin directly. Or not Dolphin, sorry. Aiper. I'm losing my mind. It's the end of the day here. So that's one thing to think about in terms of warranty work. Dolphin have always been corded. They added the cordless ones now, so you do have the option of corded or cordless. Dolphin has a huge selection, sometimes too huge. It confuses a ton of people, hence the comparison video we have on the channel. So that is sometimes viewed as a con by some potential customers. There is no doubt that Dolphin build quality is better and will last longer if taken care of. More value for money spent. So if you spend the money on the Dolphin and you can get an average of 5 to 7 years, if not more, and you spend on an Aiper, $200, $300, or whatever. Say you get like the $7.99 version, and you only get 2 or 3 years out of it. You $300 a year at that. Say it's $900. We'll go with the $900 one. That's $300 a year if you have it last 3 years. Where you can get a Dolphin, have it last longer. Use per year, dollar cost per year would be lower. However, I do understand that it's more money to shell out up front, but there are affordable options that Dolphin offer that are often overlooked or not even known about. Like the CC Plus is highly suggested all over the internet, but there are options better at a cheaper price point, or even maybe $100 more. So that's one thing to consider. Better filtration. It's going to catch more debris, not just the large stuff. So that's another thing. If your pool's clean, you can use a Dolphin throughout the week, even if your pool's clean, to basically get any microalgae or any fine sediment out of there. So, and like I said earlier in the video, the common phrase that I see said in forums and groups online when it comes to this comparison is you get what you pay for. So, in my professional opinion, in the conclusion, Dolphin's going to be the better brand. Aiper is definitely more on it in terms of like the cordless. It's just they've got a lot of other things that you need to consider when buying, as you've seen in the video. So that's one thing to consider. What else? I'm kind of rambling at this point. Let me know if you liked the style of this video where we compare like the different brands. The channel is like based off Dolphin Pool Cleaners because that's what I work on the most, but I also work on Polaris and the other like bigger brands. Aquabot I worked on for years, so I know the inner workings of a lot of them. I still work on them as they come in to the shop. It's just a matter of, we don't see them as much anymore. So let me know if you want to see videos like a Dolphin versus Polaris. Like that, it has to happen. It's just a matter of when I have the time to do it. Season's starting to slow down, so I should be able to make it relatively soon. But I've seen other video, like I'm having a bunch of video ideas right now, but like basket versus cartridge, a more in-depth look. Tank tracks, like I said earlier, versus the wheels. That's another one I'm thinking of doing. What else? But that's pretty much it. Thank you for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. We just reached it yesterday. So thank you for that. And other than that, that's pretty much it. If you're new to the channel, if the video helped you at all, consider subscribing, and also be sure to check the comparison video, because that's a huge help to people looking at Dolphins. So I encourage you to go watch that. But other than that, that's it. I hope you guys had a good season. It's kind of winding down here. It's almost going to be August. So I hope you guys had a good season so far. And other than that, just put in the comments, if you have an Aiper, how's the Aiper? If you have a Dolphin, how's the Dolphin? And so on. All right. Have a good rest of your day, guys. See you.